Inside Baseball, taken the Twitter off of the side panel that shows our socials because it doesn't exist anymore. I need to go into Stream Elements and tidy this up massively.
I actually should do the same.
Yes. Spend some time. Who's got time? Who knows? We'll find out very shortly.
Not me.
As we launch into our episode, welcome to Tacked Up, a podcast about craft beer and video games. I'm one of your hosts, Ben, here with Aadil.
Hey.
And Lucy.
Hi.
It is episode 445, rounding out towards the big 450, then the bigger 500 next year.
I think the best we can do is plan around 500 because
absolutely.
We definitely, I think we missed 400. I don't think we even noticed it was happening.
Yeah.
And 450 is way too close for us to think about doing a thing. Let's be honest.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. As we say, who has the time? But we do have time this evening to get together, talk about games, and drink some lovely beers. Lucy, why don't you start us off? What are you drinking this evening?
Drinking a beer from Deya.
Nice.
Plot twist is that it's a alcohol-free Deya called Albino Pasta.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so a no-alcohol IPA brewed in collaboration with We Can Be Friends. Not sure who they are. New Zealand hops paired with Luminosa and a pinch of Strata. They love their Strata over there at Deya.
They do.
Yeah, and that's a 500ml can.
Nice.
There's
Perfect.
like a crocodile in like a ghost sheet.
We Can Be Friends is a alcohol-free brewery.
Okay.
Who has done collabs with Vault City and some other ones that I can't think of off the top of my head.
Cool.
That's as much as I can remember. Alcohol-free beers. Oh, I found their website. Alcohol-free beers come a long way over the past years, but they can still be a hit and miss, kind of like craft beer back in 2014. Our aim is to make the best alcohol-free beer in the world and use cutting-edge science, teaming up with the UK's highest-rating breweries to get there or create some indistinguishable drinks when up against their alcoholic cousins. Opulent, fresh, and delicious. Inclusive beers that put a smile on your face. Cheers, Sam. That's their Who Are We, which is hilarious because it doesn't tell you who they are, except apparently there's a dude named Sam.
Yep.
Sorry, a person named Sam. Dude was being used in the gender neutral way, but I could see how that might be confusing, so I'm fixing that now.
Fair. Nice. I hadn't heard of them either. So
I've heard of them
to get a bit
from one of their collabs before.
Sure. Yeah, nice. One we have heard of. I'm going to drink a beer from Lost and Grounded. This is Amplify Your Sound. It's a black lager. We very rarely see black lagers, so I was like, yep, I'll have that one, thank you. It's 5.2%. They give it a little bit of flavor text. Our version of a Schwarz beer, or black lager. This beer is as smooth as a ribbon of velvet, dark, gently roasted, and ultra mega drinkable, with the base of Pils malt, de-bittered roast malt, biscuit malt, and a touch of caramel, hop with Magnum and Mittelfrau. This is an absolute classic of the lager world. If you say so, I shall open it and drink it. Aadil, what are you drinking this evening?
Hey. In my recounting of my day, I missed the part where after prying floorboards, I went to the pub. So I've had a few beers. Nice. And so in natural Aadil fashion, I am following up with a Cloudwater and Rivington Brewery collab, something to fold, Crush and Citra and Motueka, Tippa, 10%.
Ooh,
nice.
Because I know how to pick beers, even when I don't necessarily look for high ABV. It happens. So it is, like it says on the tin, it is a Tippa with Crush, Citra, and Motueka. No other flavor text. Really, it's a pure, the label is also shiny metal.
Yes.
So it's really hard to see on screen because we get glare from my lights. But really nice, classic Cloudwater sort of label where we've got bands of colors and the gradient, but reasonably simple.
A little grungy.
Yeah, I don't know much about Rivington Brewery Company,
Yeah,
but I'm
they
gonna
make
Yeah,
some
you've had a
good
few of their
stuff.
beers.
Yeah.
yeah, but I am
Are
going to
they
practice.
based up? Is it past Derby or something like that? I can't remember.
I was just
Um,
having
Google.
a look.
Yeah, please. If someone else could do the Google foo while I'm
Rivington. Oh, I am over 18. Let me in. Let me in.
Wait, do you need to now show your ID for
Then you-
breweries?
Oh man, you imagine if that starts to fucking.
I mean, it
creep
in.
should, so the thing is, if you read the law, you probably should. I'm fine with not getting into that level of political discourse because I have a lot of
Okay,
thoughts.
so they're
Yes.
past Manchester. They're in
Yeah.
Chorley.
Lancashire.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Rivington
that makes sense.
Brew Co. Tap. Oh yeah, just south of Chorley. Yeah, near Wigan for anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Which is near Manchester for anyone else that's not in
For anyone else who isn't the anyone else,
Which is near Birmingham, which is near London.
Which is near
Birmingham, which is near London. Oh, I thought they canceled that train.
Nice, good. Lucy, we'll roll back round then. For yours.
Yeah, it actually looked like a beer when it poured. It's still got a little bit of head. It poured with like about a 2-finger. Quite
about an inch.
loose bubbles. Yeah. But there's still decent amount of carbonation rising up the glass, so keeping a little bit of head there. So it looks like a beer. It looks like I'd even say it looks like a Deya beer because
Nice.
it's very hazy. You can't see through it. It's straw coloured. It's quite light. But yeah, like instant smell of like lychees.
Okay.
Yeah, it smells gorgeous. It smells like a Deya beer. Tropical fruits, lychee, mango, like really ripe mango. Yeah, it smells good. Let's fingers crossed. The taste lifts up to the smell. It's got a decent amount of body to it, to be fair. Yeah, some of those tropical fruits definitely carry over. Not as potent in the taste as they are in the aroma. But getting like a bit of pineapple, bit of papaya, bit of mango. Obviously a little bit more subtle than the nose would suggest, but I'm getting a decent amount of flavour. The finish it tapers off in the finish, but not too steeply, not too quickly. There's still a bit lingering on the palate after a while. Those like tropical fruits. Not much bitterness, but I don't think we expect much bitterness from a Deya beer at this point. But yeah, it's got a hint of that like kind of artificial kind of sweetness, almost tinny kind of taste that a lot of alcohol-free beers have, but it's not as noticeable as most of them.
Okay.
Like after a few sips, after the initial sip, and keep drinking it, it's like, ooh, almost become like, acclimatized to it and acclimated to it. So it's not as distracting as it is in most alcohol-free beers, which is good. And I think that is because they've managed to get a decent amount of flavor in this. And yeah, the body, I think having like much more of a body than most alcohol-free beers is like the key into having a decent alcohol-free beer.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it shines, because I think they're okay with getting like some of the flavors, of well, I've only really had like alcohol-free like IPAs and pales. I don't think I've probably had like one alcohol-free stout in my life. So it seems like they all get channeled towards like this style, which makes sense. I mean, IPAs are probably the most popular style in craft beer, so it makes sense. But it seems like they're getting better at evoking those fruity and tropical, citrus flavors. But it always just comes down to, has it got the body to that's robust enough to make it feel like a beer. This is closer than I've had in recent times, from like every now and then when I come out on here and we've got alcohol-free beer, seems like every few weeks. This has been the closest, which is good. But I think it's pretty good. I'd give it, on the alcohol-free scale, which is a completely different scale to the normal beer scale. It has to be. I'd give this a solid 4 out of 5. You know?
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Good. Been looking for some more alcohol-free beers. That's nice. That's good. I did see they've done a beer recently with Track as well. And they have their own beer, which was called Black Metal. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the one for me. Black Metal. Sold out. Okay, fine. Good. The Lost and Grounded, then going the other end, going more into lagers, but black lagers, and trying to hit that happy medium between a dark beer or a Schwarzer beer. It's got a very, very, as you would probably expect, very big nose to it. It is, not brown. It is very, very black. It's all it's basically the same color as a stout or a porter, really. Bit of a brown head, a bit frothy, not a huge amount on the pour, but enough that I know there's a little bit of carbonation in here. But yeah, lovely nose, big malts, a little bit of chocolate. Maybe there's this. I was going to check. I think it's most Lost and Grounded beers are vegan. It definitely smells that little bit. There's maybe some of the malts coming through, but a little bit creamy. But it is a vegan beer, so there's no lactose in this. There's definitely that little bit of creaminess to the nose. And it is not massively carbonated. It's not what a lager kind of would be, what people would expect of a lager, being crisp and refreshing and very carbonated. It is carbonated just enough. But it's a touch that disappears quite quickly. It's a touch flat. It is quite velvety. There's sort of quite a light mouthfeel to this. It's not medium bodied. It's quite light. Again, expected from sort of the style, but the flavour's interesting because you don't quite get the same levels of, say, sort of roasted, kind of a little bit of maybe like sweet coffee or a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of sort of darker chocolate that you get on the nose. You don't quite get that in the flavour. It's a little dialed back in the flavour itself. And it's more, I don't know, it's just very small is the word that's come to mind. The flavour is quite light. There are those malty flavours, but it starts to have a little bit of not kind of weedy dankness, but more sort of like dampness almost. It's kind of got a bit of a dank sort of flavour, but it's really light, mixed in with those slightly more, maybe, it's not quite a cold coffee, but it's a very weak cold coffee. It's a very light, 5% dark chocolate. It's really, really light in those flavours, and it's not doing a huge amount. The nose was great. It was lovely, rich, and full of flavour, but we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
I will say I have bashed back a bottle of red wine, but that was like an hour or so ago. Not close enough that it should ruin this at all.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of sweetness in here. It still has that kind of slightly sweeter cold coffee sort of notes to it, but it's all just a little bit light for me.
Yeah,
So
because when I think like Schwartz beer, I do think it's, that it's going to be like very malt forward and
Yeah.
have those like darker roasted malts to it. Whilst, as you say, still having like a bit of crispness and carbonation to it. So yeah, see where you land later, I guess.
absolutely. So we'll jump to you, Aadil, for the Cloudwater collaboration, wasn't it, Rivington?
The something to fold. Thick,
Wow.
hazy color. You can't see through it at all.
It's a milkshake.
Almost, yeah. It ordered a little more head than the complete lack of head you see now. The nose is tropical, bit sweet, light citrus. Something in my brain said banana, but I think it's this fucking yellow color, honestly. Actually, there might be a light stone fruit, like a very light peach note somewhere in there.
Okay.
Which I know I recognize. For those listening, I just said banana and then said no, maybe it's stone fruit again. The banana was probably just this serious yellow going on, and I recognize that. But there is something slightly stone fruity about it. So on the mouthfeel, probably because I took a sip and was focusing on it, I can tell it's a high ABV just because of the viscosity. But the taste doesn't, like, if you just ordered this and were sipping it, I think you'd get tricked by it. I don't know. Minor sidebar. I have noticed a very big swing this year in 8% that taste like 5%.
Yeah.
I feel like the industry has figured out how to mask that, like, alcohol sweetness in a way that hasn't been around in the past few years, such that given that I just look at a thing and say, yeah, that one, and it ends up being the high ABV one, this particular year has had some nights where...
Well, maybe you're just inured to it.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe just old. But I just...
next you'll be like, this vodka doesn't taste like 40%.
Does vodka ever taste like 40%? Yes, it does. Vodka is the one alcohol I had to take years off of, thanks to a minorly known night of New Year's 2000-2001.
I mean,
you can do the math. I don't care. I went to a house party.
It's drinking age?
17. 17.
Yeah, you're old.
I was 17.
Yeah, old. Old enough.
Yeah,
old
the
enough.
The problem was I drove there. My high school, because I lived in a commuting city, obviously, right? Nothing like you lot. My high school party plan was basically go to party, not drink anything, because I drove there, and then partway through the night being like, I'm having a good time. Well, if I could crash there, I would then call my folks and be like, they have let me crash. Then because I lived slightly outside of the city, so like I don't have to drive the country roads at night. Because kid truths. And then as soon as that happened, maybe my beverage selection changed.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened on New Year's 2000. Except a buddy of mine was like, I'm going on a drink run. I'm like, oh, I'm probably gonna crash here. Grab me something if you can. And he came back with a bottle of Absolute Citron.
Oh.
A glass bottle.
Yeah.
And was like, yeah, I've got stuff for now, but we can split stuff. We can split this sometime later. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to hide it over here because it's a house party in high school. And then I call my folks. They're like, yeah, of course you can crash there. We'll deal with this in the morning. Well, I didn't drive, actually. My parents were going to pick me up the next morning. And then another friend came up, knew I didn't have booze, and was like, cracked a Mickey of Smirnoff vodka, took a sip, and handed it to me. And then disappeared.
Okay.
And then that thing in my hand also disappeared.
Yep.
Wow.
And then later on the night, I have a vague memory of someone being like, "Man, I wish there was more booze." I'm like, "I know where there's booze. There's this bottle." Yeah.
Nice.
Let's just say I don't remember much of the rest of the night. I do remember being picked up by my dad and then going to pick up my sister, who was 4 years older than me and was having a wholesome sleepover with her friends. And I had nothing to eat for breakfast or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, my parents are picking me up." I woke up feeling a bit drunk, so I drank a pint of water, and then as we're driving home from picking up my sister, I vomit up the pint of water, and it's just the pint of water.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well," and my dad's like, "And oh shit, everything okay?" I'm like, "I guess so. Maybe it was something I ate." And then my sister in the back goes, "Or drank." We get home, and thing is, the day before I had mentioned that I was feeling a bit under the weather. So my mom sends me to sleep, but my family hosts, like my aunt's family does Christmas dinner. My mom was like, "Okay, then I'll do New Year's Day." Big thing. I get sent to bed because I'm sick. And then I wake up at 6 p.m. and I come downstairs, and my whole extended family is in the fucking house. And all of the aunties then go and just like, "We heard you were sick," and they just dote on me. And all my cousins are like, "You fucking dick." And then I basically get given a plate of food, like make part of my way through it, and then I'm told to go to bed, and I just like no consequences, except of course the obvious trauma my body went through that day, and obviously the day before, because when I vomited there was nothing in my system,
Yep.
which meant I vomited and didn't remember it from the night before. Anyway, vodka. It took me 5-6 years before I could even smell it.
Yeah.
Back to
We
this
all
How's
beer.
this beer? Yeah.
Yeah. We all have
Again,
one of those.
this is not the first time one of my beer tastings has gone to one of these stories. I will just reiterate: there's no way anyone could have ever told I had ADHD until they diagnosed. It's really good. Diagnosis and beer. Oh, sorry, that was ambiguous. It's got a nice little tang to it, which I think that like slight bit of sourness is helping offset what would have been the 10% sweetness of the alcohol. It's really drinkable. Again, you're getting the same. You're getting the standard sort of Motueka Citra notes. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't have as much familiarity with Crush. Maybe it's helping with the soury parts. But it doesn't taste like a 10%, but it doesn't taste like a 5%. I would say you could be tricked into this being a DIPA, but not much weaker. But it's really drinkable. Again, it's got this really like light taste curve where you don't really notice how heavy, like how much is happening, but it's like this tropical, slightly citrus start, and then it fades into, like I said, this slightly tangy finish, which makes it sort of finish on an upswing rather than a downswing, and makes you. It doesn't dry your mouth out. It doesn't leave a souring taste, but it's like such. I think it's just I'm wanting to have more taste because I really like that transition from slightly sweet citrus tropically to this like tangy. I'm trying to figure out what kind of. It's not tart. It's tangy. And it's just like interesting, and it flows really well. So I'm like, oh, that was neat. I want more. Dangerous for a 10%, but like, yeah, really solid beer. I'm not surprised it's from Cloudwater. Makes me want to see more of what Rivington does, mostly because I would say this doesn't taste like a Cloudwater beer, so like the collaboration is definitely doing something. And that something is to fold. And the worst part about this beer is that it's 10%. I just don't see it. I've had several sips, and I'm like,
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah,
it
is.
I think you're right in that breweries are getting better at masking that alcohol. The beer I had last week, the Verdant, which was a double IPA, again was more like a 5.5-6% beer, a little bit of body, maybe more like 6.5, perhaps. But yeah, you just couldn't. You didn't get that alcohol at all from it.
Mm.
Yeah, you definitely need to like pay attention to that, like the thickness, right? The thing that you can't mask.
Yeah, it seems like they've even got rid of like that alcohol burn and the chalkiness that sometimes, you know.
There's a 10% IPA that has none of that. It has this like more. It just has more texture than an 8% does. But like, if you're not looking for that specific thing and have experience with it, you would not tell that it's actually 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Nice. Well, let's enjoy these. Let's talk about some games. If you'll permit me, I'll kick off because I want to talk about a game.
Wait. What if we don't permit you?
Then I'll be here. I'll sit very quietly.
I permit. I have the power now.
Yes.
Lucy gave that power off away like that.
Oh, absolutely. She was like, "Yeah, do whatever you like."
Because Lucy's not a dick.
I've been playing a couple of games. One which maybe we'll jump into later, which I think Lucy has also been playing. But I have put a few hours into a game called Artis Impact, which is a pixel art RPG, for want of a better sort of genre or style. What I like about this is it's an RPG in the sense that there is character progression. It's turn-based battles, but the thing that really pulled me in is the art style. It is pixel art, but fucking hell, is this like top fucking notch pixel art. Animations are incredible. The style, the tone, the coloring, everything works so well. And this game is also the way it does its kind of interstitial scenes in a sort of more comic book kind of style as well, very ink kind of graphics. A lot of it is pixel arts, but then there's slightly more art kind of backgrounds to sort of a lot of this sort of stuff. So when you're in a battle, you'll be on the forefront with the characters, and that is all in pixel art. But behind it's this backdrop, which is sort of like a painted backdrop sort of thing of the area that you're in, and just the art style.
Diorama.
Yeah, it is absolutely. And there's a really cool. So the game starts out. It tries to direct you to go into kind of like this training area, and when you're in there and you're fighting the enemies, it actually comes up with a computer screen. So the backdrop is sort of set in, and it's got a task. It's got a bar at the top, and sort of it looks like you're in a simulation. You're in a virtual environment, showing you that you're in some kind of program, some kind of application. And this game is screaming at me that it's just full of style. It looks beautiful. I'm drawn in by this, but fucking hell, is it hard? Like.
That doesn't surprise me. This game looks like it's got a lot of pathos to it. So
Very
it
fucking
looks
much.
like
Much.
this character is going through things, so it's not really surprising.
My brain totally blank. What was it called again?
Artis Impact. So ARTIS Impact.
Yeah, Artis was
the character is I would assume it's pronounced Akane. Akane. She is cool.
I'm
maybe
Akane.
Akane. She's cool as fuck. But very in terms of the team that she's surrounded by. So you're part of this kind of mercenary group that goes out to protect the land and stuff. And she is maybe one of the younger members. So there's a lot of other characters kind of giving her advice, and this is how some of the tutorialization kind of goes. Little bit of misogyny from a couple of characters sort of in there early on. I'm hoping that maybe disappears sort of through the kind of the game. Used maybe for comical effect. And then one of the characters kind of stands up against it. But, to give you that kind of punchline, literal punchline sort of thing.
Fair.
So I'll see how that kind of pans out. But it's so hard. My save file is an hour into the game, and I played 3.5 hours of this game. I have had game over after game over after game over on this. Where
I was like, your maths don't make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I've replayed the same sort of section, which is very early in the game. I'm an hour in, or maybe about an hour and 20 minutes or something like that. But it's that 20-minute section which is really difficult, where I'm getting to grips with the combat. I know the combat, but getting to grips with different kind of abilities, getting to grips with sort of play styles and how to actually work Akane kind of in combat, whether it's an attack, whether it's doing a special ability, whether it's guarding, which builds up your MP, rebuilds a little bit of life. You have a little AI cube with you as well, which you can set to either attack enemies or to heal you. And so there's a lot of combinations of stuff that you can do in terms of the attacks that you have and sort of the support that you get. And I realized that the game kind of told me, but sort of once in a box, and then didn't really tell me again. Maybe go and do this thing. Go and do the VR sort of training. Level up that little bit. And I was like, yeah, okay, I could do that. And then I didn't. Ran through, kind of went through the story, went to this boss battle, was just getting my ass handed to me. Did a little bit of training. Yeah, but I did a little bit of training, found it a bit easier, and then ultimately kept dying again. A couple more game overs. So like, well, maybe there's a bit more. And I'm not kind of sort of, I'm not kind of up for that. I'm not up for that. Well, actually, you need to do half an hour of grinding before you can progress the story.
Understandable.
But the thing that kind of has me continuously going back is all of the small vignettes and the small stories that are happening kind of within the world. So you're walking through the town and you're going to talk to someone. They're like, oh, this other person wants to speak to you. Cool, I'll go and speak to that person. And that person goes, I've made you a curry. I know you haven't eaten. Here's a curry. Take it back with you. And when you go back to your little house, there is then a small scene of you coming in, kicking your boots off, setting the food up, actually just sitting down and enjoying sort of that food. I'm like, this is really good. Like there's a little bit of a, it's not a big quest. It's not something I have to really go and do. It's just a nice payoff from speaking to another character. And there's lots of that within this, lots of little interwoven sort of bits that make the town actually feel like it's alive. It's not just talk to this person and you get a bit of exposition, or you get a little bit of something. It's actually like, oh no, that gave me a thing, and now that thing is given me something to connect with the character.
Right.
So
that's interesting. I'm resurrecting our sometimes useful Steam review reading segment. I always I can't remember what I called it. That's why I was stumbling. Like, oh, great, no, you don't have this. You used to know what it's called. So interestingly, there are nothing is pithy about the reviews of this game. That's why I wanted to bring this up. And so there's probably a very informative review by Only Me. It's the number one most helpful review, but it's too long for me to read. But I'm going to read Lily Satu's because I'm curious what your given that you're sort of early on. So the review says the artsy style is doing a lot of heavy lifting for this game. Gameplay in general is atrocious. Quests locked behind repeating mundane activities that do not tell you if you've ever been you're even going to progress a quest, plus being ambiguous to a fault, clearly trying to replicate Souls-like quests, not realizing why they work there. Nonsensical difficulty scaling. You could be wiping the floor with enemies in one area, in the next year, the one being wiped with no good way to grind levels and money to when you need the most. Nonsensical combat. The only two useful moves in is the arts that is unlocked by default and guard. Why does Akane sometimes do counter damage? Why does Akane sometimes land 20 hits with a billion damage for 500 MP and then barely anything for 1500 MP? No plot, not a problem by itself, but you only get lore that actually matters at the end if you qualify for a true ending. And I just thought that was interesting because not all of that maps what you were saying, but it does seem like the stuff that you said worked was because you like did stuff it's the subtle plot that you liked, which if you're 17.2 hours in and annoyed with the gameplay, you clearly weren't looking for, because they're like there's no story, and you're like, oh, but they're really cool. What's keeping you interested is these light story bits, but then I just thought this would be a good way to bridge into. I know you're early on, but like, what about the main story?
I think early on you're kind of thrown in straight away with this kind of like, you don't know why you're here, you don't know why you're part of this group. No, there's no kind of like backstory as such. It's like, cool, you're here, go and do this thing. Okay, yeah, we will.
Yeah,
great, we've done that. Come back and talk to us. Yep, okay, great. Now go and do this other sort of mission. Yeah, okay, we will. That is sort of all it is at the moment. So it's a bit of a shame to hear that maybe it doesn't progress much more than that. But yeah, I think if the game opens up and it's small settlements and different areas which are full of characters, and that interconnectivity, or at least a cool, I've done a thing and now I do have some kind of small payoff, even if it's small, even if it's like a 10-second inked clip, great, because it's given me just that little bit to go, oh yeah, she's not just a cold-blooded mercenary. She's coming in, she's literally kicking her boots off. She's talking to the AI. They have a little conversation like, "Do you eat?" And the AI's like, not in the normal sort of sense. There's that little bit of kind of So
sorry, AI. I guess that's sort of why I thought I would highlight that one.
I thought that was a review for Silksong.
There's a much shorter review there already for balance, but before that, I just want, did you find this like the two things were like the story being a mishmash to this percent, but the other big thing was like this idea of like wild variance in power levels and no indication. You didn't seem to say that in your discussion, and I'm just curious.
Well, no, I would agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a very good way of articulating sort of what I was sort of getting to with a lot of game over. So you'd walk through an area, you'd kill a lot of enemies, absolutely, bam, 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 bam. And then you'd get to a part where suddenly you have to fight. And you're like, I'm just dead. Cool, fine. And that being sort of the difficulty. Going through the sort of the VR session was easy enough. And you can sit in there and kind of grind, and the early sections before you open that up are that little bit kind of easy, but yeah, definitely sort of jumps after that with I think them saying no explanation is very good, because I think there is explanation, it just comes at you so quickly
and seems like
and it's just sort of you're getting a lot of text on screen and it goes blah 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 blah, cool, and once you've gone, that's gone. Oh, cool. Okay. And there's a few system issues in this as well with key bindings on Steam Deck. Controllers. It's not Steam Deck verified. It's sort of only like, yes, it will work on there. And then I had an issue, and I don't know whether it's with my Steam account, but that my cloud save on there was saying up to date, but it wouldn't pick up on PC. So I couldn't jump on PC to see how the difference was, because that's the thing I wanted to do before I came and talked about this. Yesterday, I literally jumped on to see if I could bring it up on PC, just to see if I could bring the map up, which was something that just doesn't seem to work on Steam Deck.
That seems important.
I don't think you need it that much. The kind of the world is set out in a way that it's quite self-explanatory, at least in the early stages, let's say. But
cool.
Yeah.
I was just going to read the a positive review that I thought was interesting. Mostly just because sometimes we just need to hear some of these things, which was The Spine, 12.8 hours. 28 hours during a time where I had little smile about. This game made me smile a ton. An unorthodox RPG experience, but very fun nonetheless. This is my game of the year for 2025.
Oh wow!
Obviously, I picked this one. Obviously, not to. I'm sure there are other reviews that actually speak about the game, but also just to say, yeah, that's what games are supposed to do.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a nice moment of we get trapped in things, but sometimes, like, they said unorthodox, so clearly they know it's non-standard in certain ways. They fucking had a great time. That's what games are supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great. I just wanted that. That's why I was just like, oh yeah, let's remind ourselves that games are primarily entertainment, and they don't have to do anything except make you entertained. And if you smile a lot, it's fine. Actually, Yahtzee had a video in whatever Second Wind, I think is what it's called. Sorry, I'm really bad with this.
Yeah, Second Wind.
About the YouTube free games. It's worth checking it out because it's in Yahtzee style, but basically Yahtzee explains why he gets trapped in these not great, but immediately loading YouTube games because the premise is clear. The gameplay loops work such that you get trapped in the game.
Games?
Oh yeah, have you not noticed this? You go to youtube.com, you get
I
like
have premium, so maybe I'm not fed this nonsense.
I don't pay for nothing, my friend. I have insulation to buy.
It's literally I had ad block for ages, and then that stopped working as well. And it's but it's honestly, I don't have really any streaming things, but this is like, I don't think I could live without YouTube Premium anymore.
It's
just so useful.
My ad blocker on Firefox, for some reason, works great on my laptop, great on my tablet, great on my work computer, and the computer in my living room, which has Windows 11. I just get the note. I get the no, you have ad block. We won't give you YouTube anymore, so I have to disable it. Now I have ad. Just where I want to watch like more long form YouTube shit. I'm like, this is so frustrating to the point where I cast to my TV from my laptop instead of the fucking computer plugged into it, and I don't have ads. I'm like, oh, this sucks. Also, how the fuck do people use YouTube? It's awful. There's so many ads.
Yeah. It is, unless you have premium, and it's like,
oh yeah, I just didn't realize. I have been ad blocking for so long, I forgot.
Yeah, I know. It's like shocking. That's why when my ad block stopped working, I was like, oh no,
it's interrupted like 3 or 4 times with ad breaks.
Yep.
And the ads are longer now.
Yes,
they're like a minute each, and it's like, it's the. I mean, obviously by design, and it's like, okay, you're obviously people just funneling people to get premium, but actually buying it, it's not like any other service that I've used where it's like, this is a much. I have a better quality of life because I have YouTube.
What does premium cost you now?
But, I think it's $12.99 a month.
Okay.
So much. You're taking.
But I use it every day.
Yeah, no.
I go on walks and I download videos. And
right. But also, YouTube Premium also lets you like stream music and whatnot without it dying when you lock the phone, right?
Yes, you can lock your phone. And as I say, it's just like,
and download and stuff. Like
I fucking hate.
It's one of those where it's like, it's the gentrification of the app, but it's like, it's just to such an extent with YouTube that the non-ad experience is so bad.
I was going to say, what I hate is what they're offering you is what should be the baseline.
Yes.
Yeah. Right?
And it isn't.
No
and
other.
I know it's
terrible. They have coded in that you cannot hear a thing when it's not the active screen and app. No other app does that, right? Like,
or if you start watching something and say close the app or something, I don't think it tracks where you were sometimes. I think that was getting a bit iffy. Whereas now it's like, even if I've downloaded something and I go onto another device and it's not downloaded on there, it'll still know where I am in that video. And it's like, okay,
Oh,
stream it from here. It's just, I know, it's awful,
no,
but it's
they have made it so that it makes sense.
yes,
There's no
yeah,
critiques to you.
Absolutely. And
I just
I
want to be
think
clear. I'm bitching about
me
not
too.
wanting to pay it, but also the
Yeah.
fact that what you are paying $12.99 or $9.99 for is
It's a
them
marginal
removing
difference.
barriers.
Mhm.
Like, you aren't gaining anything except getting around the shit that they've put in front of you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, that's
But
my
it's such
problem
a
with this type
yeah.
of subscription is
I agree.
it's like the DLC horse, right? Like, just give me the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Give me all the
Yeah.
game when I buy the game. And it's we'll
Because
give
we
you
had
YouTube,
this. We
but
had
then we'll
this.
give
So
you
it's like,
yeah. Anyway,
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've made the margin so massive by tanking their own service that it's actually worth it.
you can
Which is
just to
sad.
flesh this out. Actually, potentially something I would look at. You can get Premium Light for £8 a month, which gives you ad-free YouTube videos, but not music. So
Hold on, I can do that. I don't
Yeah.
listen to music.
So
Can I do
the
that?
£12.99 premium a month gives you ad-free YouTube music app to download and play offline
I don't
and
need
give you
that.
the background play as well. So the
oh,
Premium Light
okay,
does not
it's
give you the
still got
background play. It only gives you the ad-free experience. And I think the difference is as well, if you're looking for something alternative to Spotify, how many good music streaming systems are there out there? If you're looking for an alternative to Spotify, this is an equivalent kind of cost, I suppose, if you use YouTube sort of music, which again then
I've got
folds
all
in
my
podcasts and all those kinds of things.
Yeah, so I've
music
got a
that
friend who
I
uses
downloaded off LimeWire. I still have that music, so I'm sorted.
Mate, me
It's
too,
not
but I
like I
never
listen
use
to
it.
modern music.
I've got
So
like a hard
actually-
drive full of TV shows and music that I just never fucking use.
Oh, it's all on my phone. I've got like
what you need
probably
to
like
do
3,000 songs on
is,
my phone.
your
All
PC
LimeWire.
or an old PC, you make that into a Plex server, and you open up your router to it, and because now that most of the UK has fiber, if you have fiber at home, you can stream anything you want from your house. The
Yeah.
cloud is a fucking bullshit myth now because we all have immediate access. Like, that's what you should do with all that music. You make yourself your own Spotify. The cloud was about access, not location. You can be your own cloud. Shit. I'm gonna have to write it.
No, man, you should. I'm interested. I've been looking at Blade servers recently. Again, the Google, the
so I'm just gonna say-
de-Googleification of like the business and all these kinds of things that we're trying to run through.
Oh shit!
Where
no,
do we
so-
where do we hold all our business files? Well, ultimately, they're all on my computer, and I could, but my computer would have to be on all the time to allow people to access it and all those kinds of things. But
Ben, we should take this offline. You're reminding me that I used to be an IT consultant, and I can actually probably help you with this with physical redundancy because you should have that.
Yes,
but you can have physical redundancy without the cloud.
Yes.
So we should talk about that, but
Yeah, nice,
also,
good, yeah.
Like for example, my photographs currently, Amazon Prime gives me free Amazon photos,
Yep.
so all my photography is unlimited storage. So actually, that's one of the main reasons I use Prime is that cloud. But then I realized I work in a location that's not my house. And there are now very good things like SyncThing, which will sync things, which between two computers, which can be more than two computers. And so if you care about redundancy, you don't have to pay for the cloud because you don't need it immediately accessible from Dallas, Texas, and South Africa, and you just need physical redundancy in case something goes wrong at the place where the file is stored.
Yes.
We now have algorithms that do that. And so if your server has that and you have a secondary location, one of them burns down and you're fine.
Nice. Cool.
And so it's like, oh, I actually built a little NVMe-based NAS, so 16 terabytes in like this much footprint because I'm a nerd. And I just wanted to see what I could do. And then I realized if I made another one, I could plug it in at the office and have them sync.
Do they know
And
that?
then I wouldn't need anything else for my photography. I could get off of Amazon, right? Like all of Durham would have to go away for me to lose all my data. In which case, that photo from Christmas 2008 is probably not my worry. Fucking Durham got nuked, right? Because my actual value isn't like, obviously as a photographer I want to do this, but if for the photos I really want, I could also back them up to the cloud, but I don't need to back everything up.
Yeah.
But also, I am not currently working as a professional photographer, and if I were, I would have those uploaded to a website or what. Like, I would do another thing. It would also probably be a single point, and then I would have a backup at my house and a backup at work, and that's actually more than enough redundancy functionally than I need. And I wouldn't have the carbon footprint of Amazon replicating all my photos to several different data centers, which I know is happening because that's how their business model works. But no one needs that. Well, very few people need that. But everything is defaulted to that.
Very few people who are doing it for just, superfluous reasons like photos from 2008, yes, but a lot of
so the reason why you have like a terabyte phone is because people don't delete shit off their phones, and their phone goes to iCloud, and you need
to make terabyte phones now.
I don't know.
This is the future.
But if you actually think about the thing, it's like, oh, functionally, what do we need? Even businesses don't need cloud; they need accessibility and redundancy, and that can happen purely within their own purview and their own actual physical access, which is way better. Because if Amazon crashes, you aren't in trouble.
Yeah.
You need two computers to crash that you have control over.
Have it on site as well as in the cloud. Multiple redundancies
in the
single
site.
Well.
Single site.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is dual physical site does a lot for most businesses that they probably don't need cloud. That's the point.
Anyway, that's going into a whole thing about the business and
Artis
just
Impact.
People getting you need the cloud. You need AI.
I mean,
it's AI now.
Interestingly, I think
this is an area I do active research into. I've already gotten a rant from 3 previous jobs ago because Ben mentioned redundancy of servers. You want to get into AI? I've got some shit to say.
Well, so Artis Impact is interesting as well in that this is obviously one person's kind of take on a post-apocalyptic kind of future where AI is incredibly baked in to everything we're sort of that they're doing in the world as well. But it's kind of a bit of a shame to hear those reviews on the story that there isn't much kind of there. But it's more so that I think I am finding more enjoyment and interest in the world and the little kind of experiences that you have, the little conversations that are being had kind of throughout Akane's kind of journey through the town, and then sort of with the characters in her team and those kinds of things. And I will stick at it, but it's kind of one where I need to have a look at a build. I need to have a look at a guide of some kind, I think, just to push through this first section.
The game is kind of getting in the way of itself.
Well, a little bit. Like if this first kind of major boss encounter, is it something in my build that isn't working? Is it something sort of, is it just that it's really fucking difficult and you need to grind that encounter out? You have to have 100 health potions to be able to kind of do it, and then just guard and then just do your special abilities. A bit of a shit combat encounter.
Yeah.
But what is it? It might not be that. It might be my build, in which case I fucked up somewhere earlier. Do I start the game over again? those kinds of. I need to have a look at something to try and push me through a little bit.
That's not great design either.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I will say that the other reviews that I glossed over and quickly scanned, basically, I think so. People who finished it in August rather than September, because I don't know what the patch frequency is. all said kind of a similar thing, which was, "Oh shit, it kind of ended," which is not great, but also maybe that's been no one who said it in sort of September seems to have had that comment. But I just
Right.
want to make that maybe they're improving, fleshing it out. But basically, even what I wanted to point out was even the negative reviews all have something good to say. Like they really want. Like, I haven't read a single review that's like, ugh, right? Like the negative reviews and the positive reviews are like, there's something really cool here, and their reviews are basically like, it's not working though, or it didn't work through the whole thing. Like the longest, well, the second longest negative, not recommended review, basically like I'll 3 sentences in is basically like there are a lot of good ideas here, but they're not fleshed out or properly thought out. If it was 3 times as longer, where the story can come together or fix the pacing, it would be amazing. Like that's the tenor of all the negative reviews. There's a gem here. We're not quite there yet, which I think is super. I think that matters when we're sort of doing these things. Also, apparently, it's a single developer.
It's a single developer. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Made in like RPG Maker, I think.
Yeah. Wow. So even just like the few like animations and stuff I saw online, that's really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll return to it. I'll go back to it. Maybe it will come up in conversation later in the year when I've been able to put a bit more time into it. Perhaps when I've had a look at a guide, which, as you say, Lucy, isn't great kind of design to know that there's something wrong, but you don't know what that might be. However, with the other game I played, I know exactly what is wrong with why I'm not progressing very fucking well. It's because I'm not very fucking good at it. Lucy, I imagine you have maybe played a little bit more of Silksong.
Sorry, let me just do a $25.99 US, $16.99 UK. Crashed a fuck ton of servers slash
that one.
storefronts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Game. I didn't buy that game because I still haven't started the first one. I don't know if it matters, but I'm just saying because I'm like one of the 7 people apparently who didn't buy it. And
I don't know. I don't think you have to have played Hollow Knight to jump into Silksong.
Yeah, I had a feeling, but also I was waiting on you guys because Metroidvania is not my number one genre. So I was waiting to hear from you guys on whether this was one worth me going for. To be honest, though,
it won't change your mind.
No, I'm not trying to like. I'm not looking for a game that will change my mind about it. I'm looking for a game I will enjoy. Much like dude guy 77 who was like, I went through a lot of shit. This game made me smile. It's got problems. It's my game of the year. Like that. Sorry, like
Silksong's not that game.
Yeah. No. I know it's not that game, but like, I was curious if you guys had like general glowing stuff. I think part of the brilliance of what they did was the price point they put it at.
Yeah.
And
so they knew they'd be rich regardless. So
yeah. And the fact that a whole bunch of like other studios were like weeping about it, it's like, no, they obviously did the calculations and they think they can afford this because they're going to move a shit ton of units on margin. That's capitalism, baby. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. I get that Nintendo also bought into this 80 quid game or whatever, $80 game nonsense. But like, they didn't because they get to price things in the marketplace. And it turns out they crashed Steam and Nintendo and maybe
PlayStation.
Even PlayStation.
Yep.
Yeah. That's right. The big 3, because Xbox is not a thing. Because of course it was just on Game Pass anyway. Also a brilliant move.
It was on Game Pass. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The one marketplace didn't get fucked is the one they gave it away for free on subscription.
No, that crashed as well.
Oh, did it really? Oh, my bad. I mean, that also makes
sense.
Hey, all you people who subscribe to this game's free.
I think it was because it was the amount of data with everyone downloading it, wasn't it? Which I think was a lot of the issue with it.
Yeah. If I were to surmise how their like data structure works, right? Like, there's a certain amount of bandwidth that's given to each segment. So I bet they weren't actually overcoming their total pipeline, but for optimization reasons, they wouldn't have give a game a full pipeline because that would squeeze out the other ones.
Mm.
But then when one game fills its pipeline and then some, it probably crashes.
Mm.
That's my guess. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it was for long though, to be fair.
No, but the
Maybe
point
a
is,
couple
no other
minutes
game
or
has
something.
crashed any of these systems.
Not
Although
recently, no.
yeah,
Not in
I will
recent
say
years.
that if Nintendo put games on actual cartridges instead of just game codes on cartridges, maybe they wouldn't have crashed. Sorry, I'm taking a jump to two other topics.
Yeah.
Tell me about Silksong.
Let's jump into the game itself. Lucy, how have you found it? How far through are you?
I'm still in Act 1 because I forgot there were acts.
Yep.
Because I've been playing it for that. I don't know how many hours I've put in. I've been. I think I've basically combed through as much as, or close to as much as Act 1 as I can. So I haven't just been doing like a straight route. I've just like, found. It's probably not even like 50% of what's there, but what I imagine to be more than 50%, like close to 90, what I imagine is in Act 1. I'm genuinely surprised that you picked it up, Ben, after you said that the first game gave you a bit of bother.
Yeah.
Because this game is punishing in an unfair way a lot of the times.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, like the first game was challenging.
Mm-hmm.
I think I ended up playing it like 3 times. So like the second and the third time, it was just like a piece of piss. But the first time, it's like challenging, but in a way that was always fair. It's like, okay, one of the hardest things is that is present in this game as well, in Silksong as well, is that the map. You don't when you explore new areas, you don't have a map of them.
Yeah.
You have to find the person who's like the cartographer who's in that particular area, buy a map from them, and then you get the map to that particular area. And only if you equip certain things, like a compass, you're able to track where you are going on the map and stuff like that. So that's one of the harder things. But that was quite new and refreshing in like a Metrovania. It was like, okay, I am truly lost. I'm truly isolated. Like that was a good gameplay spin. So that was fair because it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to rely on my memory of where I've gone. It's like it's not like, okay, we're never gonna give you a map and you have to put it all down yourself. It's like, okay, they eventually give you a map. And the other thing that was fair about Hollow Knight is that, okay, I'm going to these boss battles which are challenging, and even the enemies within the world are challenging, but their moves were always predictable. The same thing happened every time. Whereas in Silksong, it feels like a lot of it is RNG based. It's like there'll be a boss, and it's like, okay, they do telegraph and have their moves and have these tells, but then all of a sudden they may spawn like 3 different like miniature enemies off them, and that's completely random. And some of these enemies, their movement patterns, like, okay, after I've faced them a few times, I know their tells and what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, oh no, we're just gonna be like F you, and this enemy's just gonna move at the last second and just completely zigzag or change direction or something like that. And they patched the start of the game like a week after it came out.
Oh, really?
Because they knew it was too punishing. They knew. Yeah, and people, like all the mods on Steam were like easy mode and stuff like that. And it's like, I think this is what happens when you have your head down for 7 years or whatever, and are just so focused on making the thing that you want to make, which is fair enough, but you are in your little hug box echo chamber, and you don't really get any feedback from probably what the general population want, because people who love Hollow Knight and like the challenge and that realize that this is punishing overbearingly so in a lot of places.
Can I? I'll just jump in with the Steam review because there's 2 short ones and then a bit longer one because I think it helps. I will be honest. I may have picked this one before I read the name of the fucking reviewer.
Okay.
But
Can it be
big
read
balls,
out?
small dick.
Well,
Says,
they're obviously good at Souls-like.
yeah, I apologize. Says it's a very poor follow-up to HK. Dial down everything that made HK good, then dial up the difficulty because somehow the devs got convinced it was more important to be hard than fun. Dynamo Unster says frustrating does not equal challenging.
Yes.
And then the longer one I wanted to read by Yinlock, because I did read that name, and that's why it's not terrible. The game's gorgeous, but in its current state, I cannot recommend it for anyone except those who thought Hollow Knight's Godmaster DLC was the best part of the game. Above all else, this just feels mean in a way HK wasn't. Benches far away from overtuned bosses themselves mostly giving no reward at all, traps everywhere, terrible enemy design, with an extreme overabundance of flying enemies that unnaturally swerve out of your range and do inflated damage, and 2 currencies, but only one matters, and that's 1/2 of the game's enemies don't drop. They were so lost in the sauce that no thought seems to have been given to the player. The game does not respect them at all. Rather than each setback being because I screwed up like an HK, it feels more like Team Cherry pops up from behind a rock, yelling, "Fooled you, isn't this fun?" Not really. Edit, having nearly finished, I'm stubborn. I can say that there's definite highlights in some highly polished sections, but there's a lot of tedium in between, and the game maintains lack of respect for the player for the most part, so I sadly cannot recommend this.
I completely agree with that.
That's why I picked
that's my initial take as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about you, Ben? How you getting on?
I mean, I agree with that review. There's lots of things where a lot of my deaths feel very cheap.
Yes.
And
like, what was I meant to do?
Yeah, absolutely, exactly.
You put me in a corner. There is nothing I can do.
Very much, there's a big enemy. So some of the early beasts that you come against, a big enemy that has a skull, kind of like hat on, that will charge. And there's a couple of instances where you're almost in a corridor, and there's nowhere to jump over them. So all you can do is kind of run away. And then you go, oh, but there's not enough space to run away before it will get to me. I've just run out of room ultimately. Or a couple of enemies the flying ones, which do have slightly erratic patterns, as both the review and you said, Lucy. And I as soon as I got into the what's it called, the deep docks.
Deep docks.
And it changed the flying enemies, which had just been sort of like beasts before that, turned into the pilgrims. One of them threw a fireball, and I'm like, "Cool, I've got out the way." And the fireball bounces on the, bounces twice. And I'm like, "Wasn't out the way of the bounce, was I?" Oh, and actually, it threw it, and then just fucking flew away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "How am I meant to hit him?"
Oh, I've got my
I can throw my spear. I can throw my spear. I've got one shot at that, and then I've burnt down my silk. So actually, if I miss, I'm done. I just have to kind of
do that,
bounce around and sort of hit him if I can.
You have to do that like as soon as you saw it enter, throw, and then it goes away. You've burned your spear, and you've only just found out the fireball bounces not once but twice.
Exactly. I'm like, cool. I'm running. I'm going back. I don't know where to go next, but I'm not going here. No, this is the way to go. Okay. I think the thing it does quite well is it is quite free in its exploration. So as you're moving through the environments, there's lots of different sort of, you can move across the map and go through into the next area. You can go up. There's lots of, you can platform up to kind of get through. There's lots of multiple paths. A lot of the time they're blocked, but actually you just do a very small section of the map and then you can unblock it, or there are multiple paths to get you to sort of the same point. It's quite linear in sort of where it's pushing you at the moment. But there's a few different ways of kind of going about it. And I think that's quite
which is really
good.
cool.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. Like the first game, it's genuinely excellent in like its level design.
Part.
Yeah, in the Metroidvania part. Because you can, and it has that like it has like a evolving and like it feels like the world is alive.
Yeah.
Like things that you do in one area affect another area. I won't go into spoilers, but I thought I had to do something, and it's like, no, I don't. I can do something else.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't even know what to say about some of these enemies. Where I will disagree with that one review is where they said terrible boss design. I don't think. I think the bosses are pretty cool, and like the enemies are pretty cool, and you do get better at anticipating enemy movements, and eventually you are like, okay, I know exactly what these, how this enemy is going to do damage. I know exactly, what its moves are, and you do get better at that. But when it is a case of like, okay, this enemy, even if I jump into it, the impact damage takes like 2 health off me, and it's just like, this is infuriating. And it's like when you're having all these, when you're having to do these run backs to like all these different bosses, and it's like sometimes a minute you have to, with platforming challenges with enemies in between, and you have to do all that before you face the boss. And then you have this enemy which has a erratic, like, flight pattern. It's just insanely frustrating. It's like, I've done this. I've proved that I've done this. I want to get to the boss so I can learn its set patterns and try that over and over again. If the boss kills me, because it's like I haven't learned all of its tells and all of its patterns, and what the best course of action is, that's fair enough. That's where the grind is fun, because it's like you're learning attack patterns. But in this, it's like, okay,
save state right before that, so you don't have to.
and exactly, and it's like, I have to do this again. I've proved that I can do this. Why do I have to do it again and again and again and again and again? And it's as I say, it's there's so much good about it, but I think there's so much that they took from the Souls like games that is just doesn't do not translate to this experience and makes it worse. Yeah, there's a particular part which is just like extremely Souls coded, and it's just like, haha, gotcha meme worthy, and it's just like it's come on, man. You know what I mean? We're better than this.
That's kind of why I read that review specifically, because it sort of tagged into the. Why are you you learn the worst part of Souls likes?
Just making it really hard, and it's like that's the worst thing. Like when I defeat a boss, and there is no drops, there is no, or even if there's no drops, when I beat a boss, there's no like, oh, I did it, I reached the top of the mountain. It's just relief. Oh, thank God that's over.
But
you know what I mean?
The game isn't giving you a reason to celebrate, except for the fact that it sucked for you.
Yeah. And that it's a shame, because like some of these bosses got cool designs. Even the fights themselves are sometimes challenging in a fun way. But when you've got that, like, oh, if I miss this, I'm gonna have to run back an extra minute to do this, and then collect more shells and bones so I can create more traps, etc. It's just like, here we go again.
Because I think this is actually what Elden Ring did differently from like Dark Souls. Like, because everything was so punishing, beating a thing just wasn't its own reward, because the whole game sucked. Like in that sense. Obviously it was very good, because that's good, solid, consistent design. Elden Ring, often when you beat a boss, it opened up an area. It gave you the in-game, not reward because the game wasn't just about getting through.
Yeah.
And it feels like what you're saying is Hollow Knight tried to add the Dark Souls bit and took away the Elden Ring bit. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
we're just gonna make this hard, just because it's like,
yeah,
I don't know. It
but
doesn't
then
seem like, yeah.
But in a Metroidvania, cannot do the Dark Souls move. It's inherent. It's like part of what made Elden Ring good was the tough battles had a world impact, even if I didn't care about being good. That's actually why I liked the game. I grinded shitty bosses because I knew I would see or learn or have access to more of the world. But now you're telling me this Metroidvania is making you grind a thing and then hoping that you will only get enough juice out of beating a thing, but having not a huge world impact. But that's a Soulsy thing, like you said. I think you and the reviewer both said they learned they borrowed from Souls-likes in the bad way, because Metroidvanias you progress and you get access, right? That's the main gameplay loop. And if you're now grinding a thing that, except for getting access to whatever's beside it, right? Because it's in the way, you're not doing anything, then you are not doing the gameplay loop anymore. You're punishing people so they can get one screen to the left. And the punishment is supposed to, when it's punishment, it's got to change the landscape as a Metroidvania, right?
Yeah. Not every, you don't have to do every boss. Some
Right,
are just optional, but even the ones that are okay, some do okay, I need to defeat this boss to get to the next part. I mean, that's where I am at the end of Act 1, where it's okay, I'm gonna have to defeat this guy, but it's there are no benches to sit on before I go to him. I have to do this running platforming section every time, and it's okay, I'll come back to it in a few days when I actually can be asked.
But the early Souls games and Bloodborne, etc., they're fairly linear paths.
Yeah.
So passing a boss gets you ahead. But if you're playing a non-linear game and you're still doing that type of pathing, seems like
it's better in that sense, because it's at least I can go back and see if there's an alternative route and try and pick up more things that will help me on my way. But that's another part where this game falls down, where you're not allowed to. Well, you can customize your build, but it's so limited. It's you only have a few slots to use, and a lot of those slots are just purely passive kind of abilities. You need to use up a slot to have the compass to find out where you are in the world. And yes, that you could swap it out for something when you're doing the same run back that you've rehearsed and done 70 times. Fair enough. But then it's even still, a lot of in Hollow Knight, there was just more. There was more to work with. You had more slots to upgrade your character, so you could tailor each build, a lot of the time to different enemies. And I found that I haven't quite been able to do that with this. A lot of the traps that you can unlock 2 traps and set them for your character. I feel like they do no damage at all. I feel like my little needle does no damage at all, even though I've upgraded it. It's as I say, there's so much good about it, and it's there are, learning enemy patterns is fun, and when you're just okay, now I have to deal with this set of enemies, and the game is it's already very big, it's very expansive, and it's very interconnected, and the exploration is really cool. It's just things okay, I have to run back to these bosses, and some of these attack patterns in these, as Ben said, these very small kind of combat zones is just feels unfair. Like you probably didn't get to this, Ben, in the first game, the Colosseum of Fools, which is just
No.
basically like it's like wave after wave after wave of like enemies coming at you in like this death pit, like in this Colosseum kind of scenario. And I said and that's like one of the like I got the true ending to like Hollow Knight, which is you have to do some harder stuff. But I completed that, but I still couldn't complete the Colosseum of Falls. It was the hardest thing in the game.
Really?
Like one of the first like fights in this game in Act 1, probably a third through Act 1 was harder than the Colosseum of Fools. And it's just like, what is going on? You've basically taken the hardest thing that was in Hollow Knight and made that a starter, baby's first combat zone in Silksong. It's just like, it's insane to me. It's like, even from like I mean, they could do whatever they wanted with this game. They were always going to sell a billion copies. But it's like, when you're thinking, okay, let's make some people happy. Let's not make all the weirdos who like really punishing games happy. Let's try and make most of our fan base happy. You know what I mean? Isn't that what most games do? Or are they just like, nah, screw it. We're just going to be dicks about it.
I'm okay with not designing a game to make people happy. I think that's where we get to why AAA is currently doing great.
Yeah, you don't want a game made by committee.
No, but I mean, like,
think.
I'm just saying, like, I will defend the idea that a studio doesn't do that, but a studio who also makes a sequel,
there are expectations,
but that is so hotly expected, etc., that like. You're going to have new players starting with Silksong. So if Lucy's telling me, and I trust Lucy on difficulty, and I trust Lucy to be a good goddamn gamer, that there was a moment in this game that was harder than the hardest moment, which was optional in the previous game, you done fucked up! I'm sorry. Like, that's like, no, like, how are new players, let alone veteran players who aren't a Lucy Yearwood, supposed to pass this bit?
Yeah, because
that's bad. Yeah. I'm sorry, you had 8 years to not do bad game design, and I recognize there's balances, etc. I just mean like
it is just simply a balance thing that they could change, but they won't.
Yeah. And so my point, I guess,
was they have with the first patch that nerfed a lot of the.
I wonder if they wrote a sequel and not a game in a series, wherein what I mean is they made a game for people who finished the first game.
Well, it started off as DLC for the first game, so it feels like they thought, okay, the people who've played Hollow Knight, who are going to play the DLC, the hardcore, because not a lot of people play DLC. The hardcore people are going to play Silksong, which was originally a DLC. And it feels like they had that remit and just kept running with it. And then
when they re-scoped it, they didn't re-scope it.
Yeah.
If you understand the
layers.
Yeah,
just like, okay, we're spinning this up into its own game. Let's make it,
Because, like, if this was a DLC to a game, I would be like, it kind of sucks that it's not open, like, the DLC is super hard. I also think that's a bad decision because just because I didn't perfect the first game, I don't think I should have to, like, that shouldn't be the gate in which I can interact with the DLC.
Yeah.
But when it's an entirely different game, like, can you imagine if you had to be as good at Super Mario 1 to just start Super Mario 2?
Yeah.
Right, like,
and not just that, you're completing it in speedrun mode in 4 minutes.
Sorry, is there another way to play Super Mario 1?
Sorry, probably.
No, I definitely cannot speedrun that game. My claim to fame on that game, I've mentioned maybe 250 episodes ago, was the high school bet I had about beating Mario 1 on 1 life with no restrictions and having access to a Nintendo at home, and a Nintendo in the Students' Union room. I skipped a lot of classes. I fucking did it. And then Tori did not accept me saying I fucking did it. Weeks and weeks later, he's like, alright, there's no proof. I'm like, I'm not lying to you. If I was going to lie to you, I would have lied 3 weeks ago. Never got the $20, but I did beat Mario 1 on one life.
That is incredible.
I will tell you, I probably could have learned shit in high school.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Why?
I will tell you, months between, right? I went home, I played Mario 1. When I was bored, I switched to other things. When I didn't want to be in class, I'd go to the Students' Union room, I'd play Mario 1. When I got bored, I'd go to class in that order. God, wow, I can't believe I'm a professor. Sorry, but like, it was that super great neurodivergent goal of, because I could get to World 8 so easily on one life. Do you know how easy it is to do that? But World 8 sucks. And I did it. I fucking did it. And he wouldn't accept my word. And I'm like, anyway, sorry.
Accept my word that I am not.
Trauma.
I'm not getting. This is adult trauma. I'm not getting through this game on one life. Absolutely fucking not.
I don't think anyone should do that in general. It's not. The games have lives. They're not built for this. Turns out, if it was just no continues, months of my life could have been saved. And the worst part is, I know like 7 years later, my muscle memory on those first chunks of Mario were amazing. And then like another 10 years passed, and I like had access to Nintendo and played Mario 1. I was like, oh shit at this. I didn't even have a permanent skill set. Like I was like, nope. I don't even remember where these things are.
That game's hard though. It is a hard game. Yeah.
But like I couldn't like. It's really weird when you know that you just had like the way to skip through parts of the game embedded in your memory, and then you're like, oh yeah, this is just a skill I have, and you go there and like, oh fuck, I don't actually know how to skip to this part of the game. I don't remember the order. Like, oh no, my brain had rightfully ejected this, and now I'm sad about it. Because humans are dumb, right? Like that's like optimization. I should have been like, thank God I still don't have this. I went to university in the interim. Hopefully that brain space kept some of that knowledge. No. I was just like, God damn, I was on a Nintendo. I'm like, oh, I'm so good at this game. And then I like sat there. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. It was such a weird moment.
For Mario.
Yeah.
You're like, it's a me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask one question about Mario 1. When he dies, do you visualize the like Mario dying?
Yeah, it goes. Yeah.
Does he not look like an old school rotary telephone?
I've never seen it that way, but sure.
Okay. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
No, I mean, I don't think he does. No.
God damn it!
That's what you
shrunk.
see. I know, but I've never thought of rotary telephone.
So since I was first played Mario, I was like, yeah, he telephones, he dies, and I realized this is not a thing anyone else has seen that way. I was like, but he looks like a telephone, and no one else sees it. But also when they see it, like if you look at the thing, like I see what you saw.
I know exactly
also,
what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't buy this. No one thinks quite like it, Dylan. I mean, but surprise of the century.
Yes. Let's finish on Hollow Knight and Silksong and Mario and where we've gone with this. Was there anything else anyone wanted to talk about this week?
No, I think I've had enough interjections despite not having actual substantive topic. We got New Year's 2000, the weird bet with Tori.
Some
Yeah, we're
tech, YouTube and tech.
fine.
Lucy,
I
Lucy,
hate complete. Yeah.
is there
I
anything else you want to?
slightly see it, but no, I don't get
Well, Lucy's looking it up.
No.
It's also
Yeah, I can see the train of thought.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
not for me. But
that is entirely the closest I've ever got. But in my brain, since I was like 6 or whatever, I'm like, yeah, he looks like a telephone.
yeah.
And I think I never revisited the assumption. Anyway, you were trying
No,
to wrap up.
we all
and you're
have weird
patiently
stuff
waiting
like,
for us to stop.
like the Sonic soundtrack sounds like, was it Sonic 2? Sounds like Janet Jackson's Together Again. There's like a few notes.
So there's a whole thing behind that, right? With the Sonic soundtracks, in that they
Really? Am I
yeah,
not
absolutely.
alone?
In that the
I really
composers,
like how
the composers pulled a bunch of melodies from pop songs.
Sorry, say that again. Sorry.
No,
Oh, right.
the sort of the composers or whoever's putting music together for the Sonic games pulled a bunch of melodies from pop songs.
Maybe it is Janet Jackson's.
It probably was. I mean, this was really common.
Okay, I'm not going insane then. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well,
If you
I've been validated. You have not. So.
We can fall down the hole of Sonic soundtracks and all of these other sorts of things, but
there are many holes to fall down with Sonic, and I don't want to. I don't want to.
I've seen the internet because you don't just get immortality as long as you pick up one ring. To be honest, what a great gameplay mechanic. We're gonna stop there because Ben's patiently trying to wrap up. But way better than you were big, now you're small, now you're dead.
Yeah. That's like me. Let's talk about.
Sorry, I fucking hate myself.
Beers.
You were big, now you're small, now you're a telephone.
Now you're a telephone. Lucy, we started with you. Let's finish, begin the finish with you.
Silksong, yeah.
Or Silksong.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I thought you were the beers. Oh, right. Closing thoughts on Silksong. I'll keep playing it. See if it evens out a bit. I'm enjoying the exploration. Sort of like Breath of the Wild. Don't particularly enjoy the combat as such. Like the combat in this is fine. I think just like the combat scenarios can be a bit frustrating, but I'm enjoying the exploration.
Put development tools in and call that new mechanics. Would that make Silksong better?
Are you drawing a analog to the what was the one that came after Breath of the Wild? No, thank you. Yeah. But we'll come back to Silksong.
We will.
As I say, I'm enjoying lots of things about it, but that difficulty.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep going though, Lucy. Tell us about the beer.
It was actually pretty good, to be fair. As I say, decent amount of body for an alcohol-free beer. You could maybe even think this was just like a light table beer, maybe.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Table beers are like 3% now. Like I remember when it was like, gosh, I can't remember the name of the brewery. I think they did it in bottles, but they had like table beers that were like 2%
Colonel did
stuff
that.
like that. Yeah,
2.5. Yeah.
I was like, Colonel was the first table beer I crafted, but actually in general, table beer I encountered since I moved to the UK.
Yeah,
2012. It turns out it was a long time ago.
But the thing with table beers now that they have just as much flavor as like normal beers.
Yeah.
Which is so probably not the best comparison to make, but it's got an okay amount of body. Tropical fruits and stuff like that. The flavor didn't wane like with a lot of alcohol-free beers. It just feels like you're drinking water towards the end. 500ml can still like. Still tastes beery and flavoursome.
You clearly weren't feeling like you need to keep giving your
no, not at all. Not at all. Yeah.
Because
so
you still have some left. Yeah.
Exactly. Enough of that flavour rested on the palate long enough for me to be like, I can just nurse this slowly. So yeah, really good. Albino Pasta. Yeah. don't really see many. Well, maybe I just haven't been looking for alcohol-free beers, to be fair, since I'm still going through the stash. But yeah, not sure if I've seen many Deya alcohol-free beers, so
I
I'll keep looking out for them.
haven't, but I will also ask my local retailer if they have more, because
Mm.
alcohol free is very odd. So Deya's bought semi-frequently, mostly in keg at the Hop Knocker down the road, but that means that I just don't think there are not a lot of alcohol-free beers in the fridges there, because I don't think enough people buying them. So I realized as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, this isn't a good barometer for availability, because what I have noticed with the people who drink alcohol-free beers is we've talked about this, there's craft beer and then there's enjoying good beer, and often the people who enjoy good beer are very happy buying the same beer. That's what they want, which is why we've seen, especially in the past 7 years, this shift from we just have a lineup to here are 3-4 beers, and they'll switch a bit. I think White Bird True is really good for this, right? So
Yeah.
they actually, when I first moved to the UK many moons ago, and for a while, they just had a cycle, and then they're like, no, we're gonna have these, and they're not gonna be exactly the same, but they're gonna be close, and they'll always be out. And that's the way we can craft but have consistency. And I feel like, yeah, alcohol-free beers, it seems from my very limited anecdotally observed thing, is the people I know who drink craft non-alcoholic are very happy to have, and maybe it might just be because you don't have much choice, but they're just like, I want this one, I know it works. And so it makes sense that you get less experimental results, but I can't tell if that's the cart horse or the horse the cart, right? It's we assume things aren't going to be there, so when I find a thing and it's decent, I just stick to it, even if I wanted more.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But Guinness 0%, I think, has cornered a decent part of that market.
I will say, it's gotten better.
I tried it in can, and there's 3 left, and the 4th was poured down the sink.
Nice. Good. We'll continue on with these beers. So a 5.2% beer, a black lager from Lost and Grounded. My initial thoughts still stand. It didn't kind of come out much more as I was drinking it. It's much more on that kind of it's a dark beer, right? It's not a stout, it's not a pour, it's not a lager. It doesn't kind of live in between those sorts of things. It's obviously more of a Swatch beer. It's its own sort of thing. But it just this one just didn't give me a big amount of flavor. Just didn't give me much. It was just a little bit too light in the malts, in everything, really, especially with a couple of different hops in there.
Danger of a black lager, right? It's quite a hard needle to thread to be noticeable. So I bet, as black lagers go, no complaints. It tastes like a black lager, but
as part of the style, absolutely fine. Yes, it does what it's meant to do. It's just a very light beer,
right? But then, what differentiates a black lager from another black lager is actually quite hard, because it's trying to pull some of those malty notes into a lager, but not pollute the lager.
Well, no, absolutely. But Lost and Grounded are very good at pulling malty notes into lagers. They almost exclusively brew lagers. They have tens of different styles of lagers that they do, and do a lot of them very, very successfully. I just think this is okay. It's just a bit bland.
Yeah. I guess I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but of that particular style lager happens to be quite tough.
Yeah.
But you're right. they're known to do more and better, but also like I'm sure I'll ask you this question. It may have been a minute because black lagers are few and far between, but do you think the last black lager you had was as good?
I don't know. I do not know.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you the last
No,
black
they
lager.
can't
I say
remember
as good as in like
that.
because I was mentioning this as a threshold, like, oh yeah, black lager, it needs to hit these bits, but it
Mhm.
sounds like you don't feel like this hit past that. Anyway,
Sure.
I will conveniently then jump straight to me because I know we're trying to wrap up. There's something you full tipper. It finished kind of how it started, which is not feeling like a tipper. I will say that tartiness that like was I sort of emphasized on my description of the end of the taste. I acclimatized to, and it made it just kind of more drinkable.
Mm.
I never felt the 10%. I will say I mentioned like a slight maybe stone fruity thing on the nose. It just if it was there in the taste, it was just a little too overpowered by the rest. But it's extremely drinkable. So like tropical, a bit of citrus, but citrus is like just right at the front. It like really easy drinking tropical IPA kind of, but not like tropical IPA, but just like an IPA with tropical notes. Why I'm saying that is because I cannot believe this is a tipper. Like it just felt like a really easily drinkable. Like if the sun was a bit brighter, I would have wanted two of, and that would have been bad, right? Like that's how like sort of if anything, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't have more nuance in the taste. It kind of felt like a tropical, slightly citrus thing. There's 3 hops that they mentioned on the tin, and I don't feel like any of them really hit center stage. I felt like they just came up with a taste. And if you gave me sort of an IPA that was like, again, I think there was this like stone fruity thing in the nose, but it didn't really come off on the taste. And so if you give me something more generic that was sort of tropically and a bit citrus, but smooth on the way you taste it, but like half the percentage, I feel like I would have had a very similar beer experience.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
And that's actually why, again, it's a bit dangerous because it's 10%, but it could easily, what it was doing, I kind of would, if you didn't tell me, I would be like, oh yeah, I'm sure this is like a 5-6% sort of, again, not bad. Again, really enjoyed every step, but nothing like outstanding, nothing, there wasn't like a nuance or trade-off in the taste or a shift in the taste curve such that something similar with a weaker percentage would have done very similar moves. And I say this as both a warning and a commendation because 10%, good lord, I just had 10% and 500 mils.
Yeah.
It feels like I
Give me the
could
alcohol, man.
easily have more. Right, yeah. And like
if there's a trade-off, it's either the same flavors, but one's 5 or 6 and one's 10. Give me the 10.
Yeah.
With the price of a 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that actually can't be the case. I'm sure that there's some nuances that if you had it, but I'm
just as a placebo effect, it's just like I'm drinking a 10% beer.
I guess what I'm saying is like I feel like I wanted a little more nuance for the 10.
Yeah, some of these beers that are just like, even I had like a Deya that was like 8% like last week. One of the something good.
Oh yeah.
And it was delightful.
Oh, it's the middle one, right? That one I found not enough.
I can't remember. Yes, because there was a series of them. I don't know if it was a different hop or whatever it was, but it's just like, yes, this is like, it's not doing much. What it's doing is very nice, but it's one note. So yeah, I get you.
Yeah,
you do get that with some of these stronger beers, where it's like, yes, I would prefer a bit more bitterness on the end or a bit of pininess in this.
I think that's
a lot
what
of
it
the times
is.
they are just.
It kind of just finished, and didn't give me any contrast, and so it's like I guess I'm having this, and at 10%, I just know you can build more nuance into the taste curve, and also like makes use of that. Yes, I'm gonna say alcohol is a resource, and I feel like this beer does has a lot of the alcohol, but doesn't use it, right? Because different parts of the taste curve are affected differently by your ABV, and this feels like it's that masking thing. It feels like the alcohol is being masked, but I'm not gaining anything from that. All I'm gaining is a higher ABV, and actually, I would love this taste at 5% because I can have 3 of them.
Yeah,
I
fair.
want it to burn my throat at the end.
Sorry. Oh yeah.
I want that to be the ending, the crescendo.
Yeah.
My throat is just burnt.
Drink it, then just bed.
Yeah, but I'm not. I feel like the 10%. It's not like it's not being earned, but something close to that sentiment. Like, it's not doing a lot, such that if everything was dropped by 10, 15%, I'd still be happy with this beer. But if that meant it was at 5%, I'd be much happier with this beer.
Yeah.
Because the taste curve just doesn't have enough dynamics or enough trade-offs between what's going on, with what I know alcohol does. It just feels like it's a really good DIPA or even IPA that happens to be overproof and masked.
Yeah,
and I don't want.
I got through that day pretty quickly. If it had more of that alcohol burn on it, maybe I would have enjoyed it for longer.
It's 10% beer that tastes nothing like 10%. But there's no reason why I would want it at 10% because I think these flavors and this taste curve can easily happen lower. I feel like the trade-off was making it like thicker ABV, and the trade-off was masking the ABV. Does that make sense?
Rather than absolutely.
Anyway,
okay.
Again, still think it's a really tasty beer. Just sort of disappointed that it would count as 2 of my drinks if I was out of the pub, right? And it's not giving me interesting to drink, right?
No, that's fair. No, absolutely. Well, good. If you, dear listener, dear viewer, have thoughts on tippers, double IPAs, and their lessening alcohol feel, let us know. Come over to outoflives.net and comment on the post for the podcast, or go to the Out of Lives YouTube page and comment and like and subscribe and all that sort of shit. Or find us on your podcast service of choice at Tanked Up on pretty much everything. We are all individually over on Blue Sky because Twitter is a hellscape and you should leave immediately.
It was very good this week, though, I will say.
Oh, was it? Is it?
And that's all I'll say about it. Yeah.
Maybe not after today's goings on and Elon's poking at UK political system.
I missed the Elon thing. I'm fine with
that. But I'm off it now. It's like I come back once a year or something like that, just for the good stuff, where it's like Twitter is unmatched, and then I just never go back into that cesspit again.
Not fair.
But for a couple of days,
never say a thing. Maybe just
it was beautiful.
Drive slowly past the car crash.
Yes, and it was a lot of excellent memes.
Excellent.
I'll just say that.
Good. But over on Blue Sky, I'm at Nova47. Aadil is
at the Omniarch.
And Lucy, where can people get you?
I'm liking a lot of memes on Twitter for the past few days. But Juicy Loose 9 everywhere. On Substack as well. Come read my Substack.
Good.
Yeah,
Yes.
you just have an article.
Yeah, Little Nightmares 2. Which I finally got around to 4 years later.
Just as 3 is about to come out or has come out?
Yeah, because I forgot until I looked it up. I was like, ooh.
That's why I
in the corner.
This week. No, I did not.
Brilliant. Good. Well, that's been us for this week. That is that we have drank, the games that we have played. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Ciao.
I think we should talk about cheese rolling next week. We'll get Aadil to play it as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, I'll fucking play it. Yeah.
Let's dedicate some cheese rolling time.
www.outoflives.net